Okay, so we're gonna go over Mochi's commands to show you how you can stay consistent with him once he's back home with all of you. So his first command is gonna be heel. This is loose leash walking on your left-hand side. So Mochi is now required for all of his walks to walk right there next to you at your pace, paying attention to you with his head right next to your thigh. Again, we want him right there paying attention to you on all of his walks now. That way it's consistent with everyone that takes him for walks and easier for Mochi to understand and listen to, since he'll know what he's doing. So again, you want Mochi right there next to you. You want to be able to have a nice relaxed arm and a nice relaxed leash. This is going to help Mochi again know that he's doing the right thing, so he doesn't get confused and wonder what he's supposed to be doing. So that is heel or loose leash walking. Again, we want him right there next to us. There can be times where you tell Mochi free to let him know that he is free to sniff or go to the bathroom and have a little moment to explore, but we still don't want him pulling on that leash. And then once he's done with that moment, ask him to heel again. That way he knows to come back to you and walk with you again. That way there's no chance of him pulling on the leash. And if he does, I'll show you later in the video how to correct him for that behavior. But that is heel or loose leash walking. His next command is a sit stay. So you'll ask Mochi to sit, and then instead of saying stay, we're just gonna repeat the command to Mochi when we want him to stay. So you'll ask him to sit, and then if you wanna walk away to do something, maybe you're gonna get ready to take him for a walk and you need your shoes, you'll just ask Mochi to sit before walking away. That way he's reminded of what he's doing and knows he has to stay there. And then you can go put your shoes on. But then when you want to release him from that stay, you want to go all the way back to Mochi, good sit, good boy, and then release him from right next to him by saying free, or if you're going to take him for that walk, by saying heel to let him know to walk with you. We want to go all the way back to Mochi. That way he knows when you want him to come with you, and he's not too excited that you're coming towards him that he thinks you're going to say free from a distance and he gets up too early. So we want to make sure to go all the way back to him, good sit, good boy, and then from right next to him, tell him free or ask him to heel. So that is a sit stay. Again, we'll ask him to sit. We'll remind him sit before we walk away, and then we can go do what we want. We go all the way back to him to release him. His next command is a down stay. So same as the sit stay, we're going to ask Mochi to go into that down. Once he's in that down, if you want to go do something, you'll just remind Mochi down before you walk away. You can give him a few reminders here and there if it's going to be for a few minutes. A good down from across the room to remind him what he's supposed to be doing. And then again, go all the way back to him to reward and release him. Good down, good boy, free or heel when you're ready for him to either do his own thing or come with you. So that is a down stay. Again, down, remind him down before you walk away, and then go all the way back to him to reward and release. His next command is a place stay. So unlike the sit stay and a down stay, Mochi's now going to be on an elevated boundary. This gives him a little bit more freedom for longer period stays. So if you guys want to watch a movie at the end of the night, or you're making dinner together, maybe you're having some people over, and you want to give Mochi a space where he is present with you guys, gets to be a part of things, but he's not jumping on people, getting too excited, or in the way, you can send Mochi to place. This gives him a spot where he can relax, chill out. He can sit, stand, lay down, move around a little bit. You can give him toys on there. You can give him food and treats on there, whatever to keep him occupied, but still teach him that it's okay to be in his own area. That way he's not jumping on people or interacting too happily or too excited with the guests. So for this one, you're going to walk or send Mochi to place. Once he's on that place bed, you can remind him place before you walk away. Here and there, maybe every 10-15 minutes, good place. Remind him that he's doing what he's doing. Tell him that he's doing a good job. Maybe go give him a treat or two. Let him know that he's doing a good job, but you want him to continue doing that. Then remind him place before you walk away again. Go do your own thing. Maybe check on him here and there. And then when you're ready to let Mochi off, you'll go all the way back to him, same as the sit stay and the down stay. All the way back to him, good place, good boy, and then tell him free from right next to the bed. So again, you'll send or ask Mochi to go to place. Then once he's on that place bed, good place, you can reward him for getting on the bed. Then you'll remind him place before you walk away. You can go do your own thing, watch a movie, cook dinner, have guests over. But then you'll go all the way back to Mochi good boy, good place to reward and release him. But give him those few reminders. He's still a puppy. Sometimes he forgets what he's doing. He's in his teenager phase right now, so he might just want to get off. He might get excited with guests, so he may need a correction to get him back on. But when he's doing a good job, remind him and let him know that he's doing a good job and reward him for that. Motivate him to stay on the bed by giving him treats and letting him know that he's doing a good job. So that is place stay. Again, send or walk Mochi to place. Good place. Remind him place before you walk away. Then you can go do your own thing. Then go all the way back to him to reward and release him from that. So that is place stay. His next command is come when called or recall. So this is what you use when you let Mochi out in a fenced in area, or maybe you're going to a park and he's going to be in an unfenced in area, so you have that long leash on him. But this gives Mochi time to go to the bathroom, explore, sniff, run around a little bit, get some energy out, and then allows him to come back to you when you ask. So if Mochi's out playing and maybe he's been playing for 5 or 10 minutes, you're ready for him to come back to you. You'll say come really loud and firm to let Mochi know you want him to come back into your space. You can take a few steps backwards to welcome him into your space. Verbally praise him as he's on his way back. Good boy, good job, Mochi, to let him know that he should be excited and welcomed in your space. We want this one to be fun and exciting for Mochi. That way he's excited to come back to you and doesn't get distracted on the way. So verbally praise him as he's on his way back. Once he's back to you and sitting, you can reward him. And then same as the sit stay, he's supposed to stay in that sit until you release him by saying free or heel, whatever you wanted him to do next. So again, this is come when called. He's out playing, you're ready for him to come back to you. You call him back to you by saying come, take a few steps backwards, verbally praise him as he's on his way back to you. And once he's back to you and sitting, you can reward him. Give him some pets, give him a treat, verbally praise him some more. And then when you're ready, you can release him by saying free to let him know he's free to go back to exploring, or heel to let him know, hey, we're done, we're moving on to something else. So that is come when called or recalled. And then his last command is leave it. So this is what you use if you drop some food or medicine or something on the ground that you don't want Mochi to have. You'll ask him to leave it, and then if he does, you can reward him for leaving that. You want to practice this command with dogs. Say foods first. So chicken, hot dogs, his food, his treats, different things like that, that if he gets it, it's not going to harm him. But practice this with Mochi with those dog safe foods first, maybe the first couple times with his leash on as well. That way, if he goes towards it, you can correct him away from it. But if once you drop something, you'll ask Mochi to leave it. If he leaves it, then you can reward him from your hand. If it's dog safe foods first and he's left it for a few seconds or a minute or so, then you can tell him okay to let him know that he is free to have that and it's safe for him. Or you can pick it up on the ground, put it away, pick it up and give it to him, whatever you want to do, as long as Mochi leaves it and he waits for you to tell him if he can or can't have that. So that is leave it. Again, you'll drop something on the ground, ask Mochi to leave it, and then if he does, you'll reward him for that behavior. So to repeat Mochi's commands, they are heel, loose leash walking on our left-hand side, a sit stay, a down stay, a place stay, come when called or recall, and leave it. So those are Mochi's commands. And it's really important that we stay consistent with Mochi. That way he understands his commands, he knows what he's supposed to be doing, and it's less likely that he's going to get confused or not want to do something if we're all consistent with him. So that's really important. Whoever's taking him for a walk, make him do that heel, release him by saying free to let him sniff around for a little bit, and then make him go back into that heel. If you are going to have people over, practice place with him. Maybe the first couple times he'll need his leash on. That way one of you can quickly correct him if he needs it. But practice place with him. Teach him that it's okay to be in his own space and he needs to calm down with guests like that. Or maybe you're going to make dinner, put him on place. If you're going to watch a movie or a TV show at the end of the night, put him on his place bed. Practice that every time you let him out to go to the bathroom. Maybe take him out on that long leash if you're going to have a big open area for him, and practice his recall. You don't have to take a certain amount of time every single day to work with him, but just kind of put it in throughout your day. So make him sit to wait for his food bowl. Have him sit, put his food bowl down, and then tell him free to let him know it's okay to eat. every time you take him out, make him heel outside, make him heel back in, practice recall while you're out there. Different things like that where you can just kind of make it a part of your day. Everyone's consistent with him, and then Mochi knows his commands and keeps up with them. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for a dog to learn a behavior. So Mochi has learned all of his commands and all of the wanted behaviors. And we've kind of put the expectations on him. But now it takes 4 to 6 months for this to become long-term memory for Mochi. So we have to practice with him, stay consistent, and continue to work with him on his commands. That way it stays long-term memory for him. So those are his commands. And we're also going to show you quickly how to correct him and reward him for his behaviors. So to reward Mochi for those behaviors, if you don't have treats on you, verbally praise him, just like I said, for recall. Tell him that he's doing a good job. Be excited, be happy. Let him know that he's doing what you want. If you have treats on you, give him those treats. If you don't have treats, you can always pet him too. We want to kind of keep, maybe if it's a stay, keep the pets on a calmer side. That way Mochi also stays calmer and doesn't get too excited and want to get up from those. But let Mochi know that he's doing a good job. Motivate him for doing that job. That way he's more likely to do that in the future. But if Mochi does unwanted behaviors now, if he chooses to not listen to a command, we're going to correct him for those behaviors. So this is his prong collar. And this is going to sit on Mochi's neck like this. If he needs a correction, we're going to say no to let him know that he did an unwanted behavior. Then we're going to follow through with a correction, which is just going to be a light pop and release of this prong collar. We want to make sure to always release it and relax the leash and our arm once we've given him that correction. But if he's too far ahead of us in a heel, we're going to say no to let him know that he's too far ahead of us. And we're going to give him a pop and release of this collar and remind him heel so he knows what he's doing. So for any of his correction, we're going to say no to let him know that he did an unwanted behavior. Then we're going to follow through with our correction, either a pop of the prong collar or a press of the button on his remote collar. And then we're going to remind him of the command that he's doing. So then for his remote collar, on the side here there's a small red dot, and on his collar here there's another small red dot. To turn these on, we're just going to tap the two together until that green light flashes. And then on his remote on the back here there's an L black button in the center. We're going to press and hold that button until our screen lights up. So now this is turned on. And same as the prong collar, we're going to, if Mochi's doing an unwanted behavior, we're going to tell him no to let him know that he just did an unwanted behavior. Or if we asked him to sit or heel and he just does not want to do it, we're going to say no to let him know that that is not what we want him doing. Then we're going to follow through with a correction. So my hand is Mochi's neck at the moment. We're going to say no. Then we're going to follow through with our correction, which is going to be a press of the black S button here at the top of the remote. So no, black S button, and then we're going to remind him of his command. So if he's supposed to, again, be back here in a heel and he decides to come up here, we're going to say no, press the black S button, and then remind him heel to let him know that he's supposed to come back here. The corrections for Mochi are not harmful to him. What they do is just give him a quick pinch or a quick amount of stimulation on his neck to communicate with him that he's doing an unwanted behavior. Sometimes words are hard for dogs to understand, so we use the leash pressure or the stimulation for the remote collar to communicate with him. Our dog's first language is body language, so this allows us to transfer our body language to Mochi and let him know that he did something wrong. Just like how we use treats to let him know that he did something good, we also need to pair his unwanted behaviors with corrections so he's less likely to do them in the future. So for every unwanted behavior, every time you tell Mochi no, you need to be following through with a correction to let him know that that's not wanted and not desired, so he's less likely to do them in the future. But for every good behavior that Mochi does, we can also reward him and praise him for that. So again, verbally praise him if he does something good. If he comes down and just is calm, lays down, good boy, Mochi, good down. To let him know that he's doing a good job presenting calm behaviors. But on the opposite, if he decides to jump on a guest or jump on one of you, then you're going to say no and give him correction to let him know that that behavior was unwanted and we want to see it less. So it's important, again, to stay consistent with him, also have fun with him, but also be firm with him and give him his corrections when necessary. So now we've shown you Mochi's commands, a little bit how to work his collars, and now we're going to show you Mochi doing his commands.
These people peace. This is good. Thanks to the Lord for being here.
dance baseball, and then that little link right there to the right of today's game. Put that at game time, and you can be listening live at Daniel Dance Baseball tonight online at VermontCountyFirst.com. Another game on Sunday, by the way, 4:30, taking on Illinois Valley. More of today's best music coming up. This is the big show. It costs less. People are happier with it. That sounds like something we can do. That is share.
Good boy.
Mochi, sit.
Action.
Ready? Free. Good boy. Mochi, you're free. Mochi, come. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Good. Free. You're free. Mochi, come. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Good boy. Do one more. You're free. Let's do one more. Mochi, come. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Good job. Good boy. Mochi, sit. Down. Good boy. Good down. Down. Good down. Good boy. Good down. Good boy, Mochi. Good down. Good down. Good boy. Good boy. Good down. Good down. Free. Good boy. Leave it. Leave it. Good boy. Good boy. Leave it. Mochi, Mochi. Let's go. Leave it. Good boy. Great. Would you want more? You want more? Leave it. Good boy. Good boy, Mochi. Free? Okay. Okay. Good boy. Yeah. Sit. Free. Place. Good boy. Good place. Good place. Place. Good boy. Place. Place. Good boy. Good place. Good boy, Mochi. Place. Good boy. Good place. Free. Ooh, look at that.
Okay, so now that we've gone over and shown you Mochi's commands, we're gonna go over his collars a little bit more in depth. So for his prong collar can be on him anytime that he is with one of you or you guys are present in the house. I would recommend leaving the prong collar and a leash on in the house for the first week or two that he's back home with you. That way it's easier for him to understand what he's doing. When he was here with me, he learned everything on leash first with a slip collar and then the prong collar and his leash. And then eventually I added in the remote collar and started to use that more often than the prong collar and the leash, but he still has it on anytime that we are outside, in public, or if he's just laying around in the training room. He still has the prong collar and a leash on, we just can use the remote collar more often. But in the beginning, he was only relying on the leash pressure to tell him what to do. So if we do that in the house for his first week or two back with you, it's going to be a little bit easier for him to understand and know what he's supposed to be doing. So the prong collar, to get this on and off of Mochi, you're going to hold one prong steady, then you're going to take a second one that's attached to that one, and you're just going to pull up to get it apart. Then to put it back together, you'll put one side in, you'll pinch the two prongs together at the top, slide the second one in, and it'll slide together. So that's how to get the prong collar on and off of him. And then again, this sits on Mochi's neck like this. And when we need to give him a correction, we say no. We give him a pop and release of the collar, and then we remind him what he's supposed to be doing. The pop is just a little pinch around his neck, and then we relax it again. We only give him that momentary correction, not constant pressure, to give him that correction. That way he understands it, but he doesn't have to constantly feel that correction. Just one moment of a little pinch around his neck is enough to communicate with him what he's doing. So again, no, pop and release of that prong collar, and then remind him what he's supposed to be doing. Then for his remote collar, we've already turned it on, but to repeat how to do that, there is a red little magnet here and another red little magnet here. We just tap those together. It flashed red, so that means that the collar is turned off. If we tap them again and it flashes green, that means that your collar is turned on. The remote collar can go on Mochi anytime throughout the day. So I would recommend first thing in the morning before you let him out for his first potty break, you put it on him. And then once you take him for his last potty break, you're in for the night and you're all going to bed. Maybe he's going to go in his crate for the night. Then you can take his remote collar off of him. This can stay charged for up to 2 days like that. So you put it on him, you take it off of him at night. Then the next morning, you put it on him, take it off of him at night, turning it off each night. At the end of that second night, it'll probably need put on the charger for a few hours. But that's how to turn your collar on. This is going to flash green every couple seconds to let you know that it's on and charged. If it flashes yellow or red, again, that just means that it needs charged. Same for our remote. On the back here is that L button. We press and hold that until our screen lights up. It's turned on right now. You can see that number 30 on the screen. And then down here, this flashes green every couple seconds to let you know that our remote is on and charged. Again, yellow or red just means it needs put on the charger for a few hours. And then you'll see that number 30 on the screen. That is Mochi's correction level. So when I did the correction on my hand with the black S button, I was feeling level 30. Again, that is Mochi's correction level, so that communicates with him that he did an unwanted behavior. So to show that again, if he does an unwanted behavior, we're going to say no to let him know that he did that unwanted behavior. Then we're going to give him that correction, and then we're going to remind him what he was supposed to be doing. So that did not hurt my hand in any way, just a little stimulation on my hand, but it did not harm me. So that is level 30. Again, that is Mochi's normal correction level. Under the black S button is a red S button. This is Mochi's boost or emergency feature. Mochi has never felt this amount before, but it can be used if Mochi runs out of the front door and he's running towards the road, or if he somehow gets off the leash and he's taking off somewhere that could put him in danger. Then you're going to say no. You're going to press the red S button until Mochi has his attention back on you and maybe call him back to you and he's running back towards you. Then you can stop pressing that button. But you'll see when I press the black S button, that is level 30. If I press the red S button, that is going to be level 65. Again, the feeling just for a moment, but when Mochi gets excited or in different situations that could be putting him in danger, his adrenaline is also going to go up. And with that, his pain tolerance is also going to rise. So he needs that higher level in those situations to allow him to be able to feel it in that situation. So again, only for emergency situations would you press the red S button, but you have it there if you need it. So that is the red S button. On the other side of this remote is the black T button. That is the vibrate feature. All that does is vibrates the collar. If you've had Mochi for a couple weeks, he's doing really well. Maybe months down the road, he's doing really well. And you feel like he doesn't need a full correction for something. Maybe he's just starting to kind of get energetic and to be too much, just getting a little jumpy, but he's not jumping on people yet. Then you can press the black T button to say, hey, this is your warning. If you continue to get too excited and too jumpy and things like that, then you're going to need a correction. So the black T button can be used in the future, way down the road when Mochi's being really good and you feel like he might not need a full correction for something, just a warning. And then if he continues to do something, you'll give him that correction. So those are all the buttons on the side of the remote. Here on the top of the remote is this dial. If I turn it right now, it is locked in place at 30. It is not changing. If you get home and Mochi just isn't listening on level 30, you can try taking him up to 35. If you get home and he's comfortable in his environment, more relaxed because he's back with you guys, You can try taking him down to 25 if you feel that 30 is too much. But to do that, you're going to press and hold this dial down. See how easily that jumps up? So he's at 30. And if you need to take him up to 35, you'll just turn the dial to 35, and then we'll lock that in place. If he's at 30 and that's too much, take him down to 25. But his current level that's been working for him is level 30. And then we're going to lock that in place again to make sure that we don't accidentally change it up too high or too low for him. So we're going to press and hold that down again until our number flashes. Now that is locked back in at 30 again and cannot be changed unless we press and hold it down. Then you'll also see on his screen next to the number 30 a little M. On the back of his remote, you'll also see a tiny little button here that has an M/C on the back. His collar and remote are on momentary right now, so no matter how long I press and hold this button, it is just going to give him that momentary stimulation. Either button I press, just that momentary. He does not need the continuous anymore, so you should not need to press that M/C button at all. Then on the back here as well, you'll see this little thing here. This is the charging port. And then on his collar underneath, there is also the charging port. So when both of these need charged, you can put them both on a charger together. And then you'll also see the prongs here in the box. I'll show you the longer prongs that are an option to put on. But if maybe he's got his winter coat and you feel like he's not feeling the correction, you can always try putting the longer prongs on to see if that helps. So on your box here on the back, there's a number and an email to contact for a 2-year warranty that we send home with the collars. So you can reach out to them to get that warranty. And then in your box, there is a strap, your original strap that the collar came on. I've put this one with a little buckle here on his collar. That's up to you guys whether you get it or not. But his original strap is in here. His charger is in here. And then the longer prongs are here. They're just a tiny bit longer than the ones already on him. But again, if he gets that winter coat or you feel like he's not feeling his corrections, you've turned it up to 35 maybe, and he's still not feeling it, you can try putting those longer prongs on. And then in this bag is a little tool, a little screwdriver to get those prongs on and off of the collar. Then underneath is the instruction manual in the bottom of this box if you want to read about the collar more in depth. But those are the features of Mochi's collars and his commands, and then him doing his commands. We want to make sure, again, to stay consistent with Mochi. Keep up with his commands, keep doing them, that way he remembers them. Keep it consistent with everyone, no matter who's walking him or who's in the house with him. Make sure that you're consistent with him. Reward him for doing those good behaviors, motivate him, have fun with him, but also be firm with him. Let him know when he does unwanted behaviors so that he can think about that and not do it again. And be consistent with him again. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Keep it the same with everyone. Practice with everyone. That way he knows what he's doing and he knows that he has to do it with everyone. And he knows that he can't push too far with a certain person and get away with things. We want to make sure to be consistent with him. That way he knows his commands, understand what's expected of him, and continues to do his commands correctly. So have fun with him and stay consistent.